the notation that you would remember from last year. So our Venn diagram, here is a drawing of a Venn diagram. There's no numbers in it yet. I'm going to put some in there in a minute. A Venn diagram uses overlapping circles to represent the relationships between different sets. So the two sets that we're comparing in this one are going to be football and cricket. They are called Venn diagrams because they are named after the English logician, who is someone who studies logic, called John Venn. So it was named after him. So I'm going to make up some numbers to put in this Venn diagram here. I'm going to say the people who like to play football and the people who like to play cricket. There are 4 people in football and 5 people who like to play cricket. And I'm also going to make up a number in the overlapping section. I'm going to put a 3 in there. That represents the people who would like both sports or play both sports. You will also, there's always 4 numbers, so there are 3 in the circles. There's always a 4th number that is outside of those circles out here, usually in that bottom right-hand corner, and that represents the people who don't like or play either of those sports. Okay, so for some notation, before we move on from there, let's do some notation practice here. I'm going to call the people who play football, I'm going to call them set A, and the people who play cricket are going to be set B. Now, the overlapping section, remember yesterday we used the letter P for probability? If I use the letter N, it represents the number of people. It's not a probability, it's just the number of people that do that particular thing. So I'm going to say the number of people that are A, and we have this symbol here, it's an upside down U. And you've probably heard some other words before, like inclusive or union and those kinds of things before. But the simple way to read these letters here is and. So you say A and B is what that reads as. There are 3 people who do both A and B. They play football and they play cricket. Okay, so that upside down U, I'll write it over here on the side as a little reminder. The upside down U, you can read that as the word and the going the right way U is or, when we get to that one in a minute. Okay, so some more notation. Let's have a look at this number 5 here. That is the number of people who are not A, but they are B. Right? So we would say not A, you can either use a line on the top for not, or sometimes you'll also see a dash. So I'm going to use the line notation here. So not A and B. Okay, so you can see that that is the B circle, but it's not A because we don't want the 3 that has the A part in it. And so then hopefully it makes sense if you look at the football, that one's going to be the number of people who are A, but not the B's this time. Or actually, I did the line notation. Let's do the line notation like I did before. Line on top. And this 2 here on the bottom, those people don't play A, don't do A, and they don't do B. So that's number of people that are A, don't do A, not A, and they're not B. All right, so we're going to practice that notation some more, but hopefully that is ringing some bells from last year. You're familiar with some of that. The next thing we want to do... You didn't do that notation? You didn't do any of that notation last year? Yeah, you did. Yeah, should have done a little bit of it at least. Yeah? Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to take the information that I've made up there in that Venn diagram and we're going to put it into what we call a two-way table. They're just 2 different ways of displaying the same data and you'll need to be familiar with both of them. So, the table. The first top left-hand box there are people who play cricket and football. Cricket and football. That's and. Hear that word and? They are cricket and they play football. That's going to be my overlapping section. The 3 people who play cricket and they play football. They play both. The overlapping section. Okay, let's work down that column. The next box below are people who play cricket but do not play football. Look at these circles. Here's my cricket circle, but I don't want the ones that play football as well, which means it's going to be the 5. They only play cricket, not football. The bottom number of that column is just adding those 2 numbers together. 3 plus 5 is 8. Now let's work on the second column. So the second column is they play football, but they don't play cricket. So we're looking at our football circle, but no cricket, which means we don't want the 3, which means that would just be the 4. Then the one underneath, no cricket, no football, is the 2. That's the one outside. They don't play either sport. So that's 2. They don't do either of them. And the total, we add them together, 4 plus 2 is 6. The last column is also done by adding. You just add across the row instead. So you go 3 plus 4 is 7. And 5 plus 2 is 7. In the last box, it's always a bit of a check to make sure that it adds the same both ways. So 7 and 7 makes 14. Does 8 and 6 make 14? Yep, good, it works. So 14. So we've converted that data into a 2-way table. And you'll be asked to find probabilities and all sorts of things from both forms. Okay, so there's some more terminology here that we are going to go through. So more terms that you must understand. A set, I've already been using this word today. A set is a collection or a group of elements. So I was talking about the groups of people who liked football, the set of people who liked football, and the set of people who liked cricket. Okay, so the word set. Sample space, we mentioned yesterday, is the list of all the possible outcomes or results. Sometimes it is called the universal set and is given the symbol. Now, yesterday I said we're just going to call it S. But there are some other symbols there that you can see that do occasionally get used. But let's just, where possible, we'll stick to that letter S for sample space. And we write our sample space. This is exactly the same as yesterday. S equals big curly brackets. And we list off our elements inside the curly brackets. Now, a subset, A is a subset of B. Now, that sideways U there, we haven't had that one yet, means A is a subset of B. It means that all the elements of A belong to B. And there's an example here to explain it for you. So if B is my big group of elements, here they are, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All of the elements in A come out of B. So the numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8, I've just chosen out the even numbers as a subset of B. That's what a subset means. I'm selecting things out of one set to make another one. There's nothing in this one that is different that's coming out of somewhere else. Does that make sense? So subset. Complement we talked about yesterday. Let's go back here. Complement. So it is not that thing. If you know the probability of one thing and you want to find, we did vowels yesterday. We found the probability of a vowel and then find the probability that it was not a vowel. We just have to do 1 minus the probability that we already found to find the rest. Okay, the notation that we were using, I think that one there is a bit of a misprint on my part. That should have had a little dash on it. Does yours have a dash on it?
There's a comma.
Yeah, like that. So it's either an A with a bar above it, which is the one I was using at the top of the page. That means complement, or a dash, or a little C, because that means C for complement. Complement of C, A with a little C on it. Each of those different things mean complement. Most of the time you'll probably find it will be the little dash notation that you'll probably see, but the bar is also quite common as well. Next one, element. Consider A which has a set that in those brackets there, that means that's a sample space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, the number 3 is an element. It is one of those things out of that sample space, isn't it? So we can say that 3 is an element. So you got that side, that little, it's like an E, but it's more of a italic, slopey kind of E. 3 is an element of A. Next one, null or an empty set. If there is nothing in your sample space, we call it a null or an empty set, and you can use this symbol, a circle with a line through it, which means there's nothing in that sample space, nothing in that set. And so you would just go null set in there. All right, cardinal number. So that I already mentioned this. Instead of doing probability of something, we're going to see I want the number of things in A. So that's the number of elements that are in that particular set that we're looking at. Okay, union. You may be familiar with that word union, but I've just introduced that as the word or. If you see this symbol A or B, it means that you want the union of A and B. A or B means all the elements in both A and B. So if A had the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and B had the numbers 2, 6, and 8, A or B is 1, 2, 3, 6, and 8. Now notice, both of these sets here had the number 2 in them. I don't write the number 2 twice in the union. So you have to look out for overlapping numbers. You don't just go, oh, there's 3 plus 3, which means there's going to be 5 things in the union. No, because there was an overlap. There's actually only 5 different elements in that union. Okay, now in terms of a diagram, there's your Venn diagram. It means everything in A, everything in B, and that overlapping section. Just don't count that overlapping section twice, is what you're going to be careful of. All right, next page. The intersection. The intersection of A and B, so there's the word and, is our upside down U, A and B. It means the elements that belong to both A and B. It has to have both of them. So again, if I look at those same sets as before, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 6, and 8, the only one that is in both of them is the number 2. Okay, so there would only be one thing for A and B, and it represents that center part, that overlapping part on our Venn diagram. Okay, next one. If I say I want only A, look out for that word only. It means you do not want to count the overlapping section, only the A part. So if I look at these numbers in A, 1, 2, and 3, 2, remember, is my overlapping number in both of them. So it's only the 1 and the 3, there would only be 2 things that are only A. Yeah, because 2 is also B. Yeah? All right? Mutually exclusive events are events that have nothing in common, which means that there is no overlap. Again, sorry, that's not what your page says. That's mine. When I copy into OneNote, it likes to sometimes change some of the symbols. Yours says A and B. And then you see this symbol again. Do you remember what it means? Null set. It means the A and B, which remember is your overlapping section. It means there isn't any overlapping section. Mutually exclusive means that what happens in A and what happens in B, there's no overlap. They're completely separate. Mutually exclusive. To draw a Venn diagram of that, you would have A over here and B over here, and they're not even touching. No overlap. Okay? Now for them, the complementary rule works really, really well. If you know how many things are in A and you want not A, that's when you can just go 1 minus to find out the not A part. It's only when there's that overlapping section you have to be a bit careful. All right? All right, into some examples. A survey of 80 people found that 36 people play football, 46 people play cricket, and also 14 people play both football and cricket, while 12 play neither. So first of all, we have to construct our own Venn diagram. It's just given us a lot of words there, and we have to try and put that all together. So we do know that they're overlapping because there was a number in there that says that it was both. So let's draw a Venn diagram. Rectangle. Sometimes it's nice to draw your circles a bit more oval so you can have your overlapping section a bit more obvious. Now we are playing sport again, and we have football and we have cricket. Okay, let's read through the question again and see what we can fill in. A survey of 80 people, that's going to be the total. All the numbers that I put in this diagram need to add to give 80. Okay, but at the moment I can't really use that number, but let's keep going. 36 people play football. Again, I can't put that number in because 36 people play football would be both of those two numbers. Okay? 46 people play cricket, but that's going to be both of those two numbers. The number I need first is this one. 14 people play both football and cricket. If they give you that number, you always want to start with that one. Sometimes they don't, and that's even nastier. So 14 people play both. That goes in here in our overlapping section. Now that means I can work out how many people play just football. So if there were, 36 people play football. If I do 36, take away that 14, I get 22 people who just play football but not the cricket part. Then let's do the same thing for cricket. There are 46 people who play cricket. Subtract off the 14 means 32 people play cricket. Yes? Then there was one more number. There are 12 people who play neither. So that comes out here. Play neither of those sports. Now do a check. Those numbers need to add to what? 80. Make sure that they do. If they don't add up, it means that you have done something wrong and you need to recalculate. So 22 plus 40 plus 30 plus 12. Does that make 80?
Yeah.
I hope so. Good. All right. Now that we have an accurate Venn diagram, of course we want to answer some questions about it. So part B. How many people, now pay attention when you're doing this in tests and in your exercises, are you doing probability or are you doing the number? We're doing number. So I just want the number of people who play football or, and I kind of want to highlight it, there's that magic word, or cricket. Okay, it's not and, it doesn't have to be both. It is the people who play football or cricket. Do these people play football or cricket? Did these people play football or cricket?
Yes.
Do these people play football or cricket?
Yes.
Yes. It's those three numbers in there, which is the or. So let's add them together. It is 22 plus 32 plus the 14, which equals 68.
What are you doing?
We're going to do that in a minute, I think. Yeah, that's in the next bit. Part 2. Do not play cricket. Okay? So these people in here, this cricket circle, they play cricket. The people who do not play cricket are the ones outside of that circle, which is this number, but also that number. So 22 plus 12 are the people who do not play cricket. So that is a total of 34 people. Okay, part 3. How many people do not play football? So now we go, here is the football people. To not play football, you're 32 and the 12. So 32 plus 12 makes 44. And part 4, How many people only play cricket? Now, my cricket circle, these people play cricket, but these ones play football as well. When I say only, it means we don't want the overlapping section, we just want the 32. Okay, part C. If one of the 80 people was randomly selected, find, and you'll see in each one of these it's P of something, P, which means probability. We're now doing probability, not just the number. Please look out for it. It's a horrible way to lose marks, is just to miss doing probability or do the wrong one at the wrong time. Okay? So, probability that they play football and cricket. Here it is, the and. And means they have to play both, which means overlapping section. 14 people play both, but because we're doing probability, that now has to go over the total, which is 80. 14 out of 80, which simplifies to 7 out of 40. Okay, part 2. P for probability, that they play neither football nor cricket. They don't play either. So these people play the sports, right? These are the people who don't play either. 12 out of the 80, and don't forget to simplify it down. Okay, and part 3, play only, remember those key words, only cricket. So cricket, here it is, if it's only, it means not the overlapping section. So 32 out of the 80, and of course, simplify that down to be 2/5. Yeah? Great. Next page. Question 2. The Venn diagram shows the distribution of elements in 2 sets, A and B. Not telling us what they are, but there they are. A and B. The numbers are all in the Venn diagram for us. Transfer the information into the two-way table. I've shown you how to do this once. Maybe see if you can get ahead of me and you get the same thing. So the first one, A and B, that box in there, is both of them, which means it's the overlapping section, it's the 2. Okay, working down that column, A but not the B, means I want the A circle but not the overlapping. It is the 3. Add those 2 numbers together to get the number at the bottom. Now working on the second column, not A but B. So when we're in the B circle, we don't want the overlapping A part, so that means it's going to be the 5. Not A and not B means the one that's outside. It's neither of them. That is the 1. Add them together to get a 6. Going across the rows, 2 plus 5 is 7. 1 plus 3 is 4. And either way I add that, 6 plus 5 is 11 and 7 plus 4 is 11. So it all adds up nicely. Okay, now it doesn't matter which one you use. Oh my goodness, it's changed all my symbols here. Quickly, let me just change all of those. I'll change them as I go. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you use the Venn diagram or the two-way table to answer these questions. Let's have a go. So the first one is we want the N for number of A. What's that symbol mean? And, good. Now the way I remember it, by the way, and, see how that looks like an N? Like in and. It's almost like A-N. It's a B instead of a D, right? But it's and B, instead of and. But it looks like an and, right? A-N, N. It looks like an N for and. That's how I remember it. It looks like an and, it's and. Anyway. Whatever works for you. So A and B means either the overlapping section or A and B, same thing, it's 2, right? So equals 2.
Where's the and means the overlapping? And then
yes, the 3 bits together. Yeah. Okay, the next one. Gotta fix that symbol up. It says not A and B. All right, remember that very first diagram I drew? Not A, which means it's not the A circle, but it is, and the B circle, which is the 5 in here. Now, this could be easy to do on our table here. Not A and B, there it is again, 5. Same result either way. It's good to be able to do it from both. So it's equal to 5. Part 3, not A and not B. Not A and not B is, not A and not B is the one, and we know if it's not A and it's not B, it's the one that's outside of our circles. It's the 1. Part 4, number of elements in A. Just A, correct. So in all of A, there are 5 things. In here, to do it from here, you go, here's my A. I want the total of things in that column, which is 5. Okay, part 5, number of elements in not B. It is 4. So if you go to not B here, it is 4. If you wanted to do it from your diagram up here, here is your B circle. So not B is everything outside of it, which is 3 plus 1 is 4. Yeah, it all makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Shh. And number of elements in A, what is that symbol? Or B. Which means it could have either. It needs to have A or it needs to have B. It doesn't have to have both. Now let's have a look at this table. Does that have an A or a B in it? Yes, it actually has both. Does that number there have A or B in it? Yes. Yeah, it doesn't have the A, but it has the B, so it still passes. Does that number there have A or B in it? Yes. Yes, it has the A, but not the B. Does that one there? No. Now these ones here are just total. So of those 4 numbers in there, it's that one plus that one plus that one. So it's 5 plus 2 plus 3, which makes 10. Who said 11? From the diagram, from our Venn diagram up here, we know that A or B means everything in those circles and not the one outside, which gives us 10. Yeah? Okay. Part C, we're almost done. We want the probability now of the first one is, what is that symbol? A and B. And meaning has to be both. I've moved my screen now. Let's move it back. Oh, can we just see the Venn diagram there? Yep. How many things are A and B? 10. Not all, that's all. 2 is the... And means the overlapping. It's the 2 or A and B. 2. Right? So it's 2 out of 11. Good. The total, which is this number here, 11. Or adding all those numbers up, 11. Okay? And last one, probability of not B. How many things were not B? So B was this circle, so the 3 and the, don't forget the 1. 4, So there's 4 out of 11. Okay? And that's it. Time to practice. 3B.